Stop!
Shut up, dog.
In the remote village of Nkaru, there resided a woman named Amina, whose poverty mirrored the desolation of the cracked earth beneath her feet. Her attire, little more than stitched together rags, and her humble mud-brick dwelling, precariously perched on the village's edge, bore testament to a life of relentless hardship. The hut's roof succumbed to rain, and its walls trembled against fierce winds, underscoring her vulnerability. Amina's days were a monotonous cycle of labor, fetching water, tending fields, and mending clothes. Yet her efforts yielded meager rewards. The villagers whispered among themselves, branding her as one cursed by an unkind fate, a woman whose luck had forever eluded her. Bereft of a familial support, Amina's solitude contrasted starkly with the lives of her contemporaries, who had become mothers and wives, basking in modest comfort. Their laughter resonated through the village, serving as a poignant reminder of Amina's isolation. Children played in the courtyards, mothers exchanged gossip over calabashes of palm wine, and men returned from the fields with songs on their lips. For Amina, such joy felt like an unattainable dream. Yet, amid the whispers and loneliness, she clung to an unwavering hope. Each night she offered prayers for a miracle, her faith steadfast despite her uncertain circumstances. Her small altar, adorned with candles and rudimentary carvings, was her sanctuary. One blistering afternoon, as Amina carried a bundle of worn clothes to the river, the water gleamed under the relentless sun, and a gentle breeze provided her only solace. Her hands, roughened by years of toil, moved mechanically as she knelt to scrub the garments. Suddenly, the sound of approaching footsteps startled her. Turning, she saw a woman whose presence was otherworldly. Adorned in resplendent silk robes that shimmered in the sunlight, the stranger exuded an ethereal glow, her smile sharp and enigmatic. Her hair cascaded in jet-black waves, and her eyes sparkled with an unsettling intensity. "Good day," the woman greeted, her voice smooth and beguiling, a melody that seemed to echo in the air. Amina hesitated before responding, her voice tinged with apprehension. "Good day, Ma." The woman stepped closer, her gaze piercing. "My name is Layla. I have been observing you. Amina, I know of your struggles." Amina's breath caught. How did this stranger know her name? Her unease deepened as she searched the woman's face for clues, finding none. Layla's smile deepened, carrying a hint of menace. "I have an offer for you, one that will alter the course of your life." Reaching into her bag, she revealed a bundle of crisp currency. The sight of such wealth made Amina's heart pound, her mind racing with possibilities and fears. "What kind of offer?" Amina asked, her voice barely above a whisper, her curiosity warring with caution. Layla's expression grew stern. "I need you to collect old undergarments from the villagers. The more you bring, the more you will be paid." Confusion clouded Amina's face. "Undergarments? Why?" "Do not question my request," Layla replied sharply, her tone leaving no room for argument. "Comply, and your days of poverty will end." Placing the money into Amina's trembling hands, she added, "Meet me here tomorrow." That night, Amina stared at the money, her thoughts a maelstrom of doubt and curiosity. Though Layla's request was peculiar, the allure of a financial freedom proved irresistible. She imagined a life where hunger was a distant memory, her home sturdy and warm, and the villagers' whispers replaced with admiration. The next morning, Amina embarked on her mission. Using part of the money, She purchased shiny buckets and bowls, which she traded in the village for old clothes, shoes, and undergarments. The villagers, enamored by the colorful goods, handed over their unwanted items without hesitation, their eyes gleaming with gratitude for her generosity. By evening, Amina's sack was brimming. She meticulously sorted the items, setting aside the undergarments and discreetly burning the rest near the river, ensuring no trace of her peculiar trade remained. The acrid smoke rose into the twilight, mingling with the scent of damp earth and the hum of nocturnal insects. When Amina met Layla the following night, she was greeted with a satisfied smile. "You've done well," Layla remarked, handing her another substantial bundle of money. "Continue, and your life will transform." Thus began Amina's unusual enterprise. Day after day, she amassed more goods, delivering the undergarments to Layla under the cover of night. Her once dilapidated home was repaired, her tattered wardrobe replaced with fine fabrics, and her meals became abundant. The villagers marveled at her transformation, attributing it to divine blessings and hard work. Amina's newfound wealth became the talk of Nkaru, her previous struggles seemingly forgotten. However, one villager, Kessie, grew suspicious. A sharp-eyed woman with a penchant for uncovering secrets, Kessie had noticed Amina's nocturnal activities and resolved to uncover the truth. One evening, shrouded in darkness, Kessie followed Amina to the river. Concealed in the shadows, she witnessed a chilling scene. Layla stood encircled by flickering candles, chanting in a language foreign and haunting. The rhythmic incantations reverberated through the air, their eerie cadence sending chills down Kessie's spine. When Amina handed over the sack of undergarments, they vanished into a faint spectral glow as Layla raised her arms in a triumphant gesture. The air vibrated with an eerie laughter that sent shivers down Kessie's spine, her heart pounding like a drumbeat of warning. Terrified, Kessie fled to the village, her thoughts racing. The vision of Layla's ritual replayed in her mind, a sinister tableau that defied explanation. At dawn, she approached the elders, her voice trembling as she recounted the sinister ritual. "Amina's wealth is not of natural origin," she warned. "We must confront this darkness and unveil the truth." The elders exchanged uneasy glances, their concern palpable. Whispers of fear rippled through the village as the unsettling revelation demanded action. The enigma of Amina's newfound fortune could no longer remain concealed, and the villagers braced themselves for the confrontation that lay ahead. The villagers stared in stunned silence, their faces pale. Sala fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "I had no choice," she cried. "She said if I didn't take the oath and obey her, she would kill me. I was desperate. I'm sorry." The head elder's face hardened, his expression a mix of anger and sorrow. He turned to the chief priest. "What can we do?" The priest stroked his beard thoughtfully. "We must find KY and destroy her power. Only then can we break her hold on the village." A wave of fear and anger swept through the crowd. The once celebrated trade of buckets and bowls had turned into a dark tale of deceit and danger. They now understood the true cost of their discarded clothes. The chief priest stood tall, his staff planted firmly in the ground. His sharp gaze swept over the gathered villagers. The square was so silent, even the rustling leaves seemed afraid to make a sound. "This is no ordinary matter," the priest began, his voice echoing with authority. "A powerful witch hides among us, feeding on your lives through KY's work. But fear not, the spirits have spoken. and they will guide us to break this curse." The villagers shifted nervously. Some clutched their children tightly, while others murmured prayers under their breath. The priest continued, his tone firm. "If you have ever given your clothes to Salah, step forward. The curse cannot be lifted if you hide." For a moment, no one moved. Then, slowly, women began stepping forward, their faces pale with fear. One by one, they joined the line, heads bowed in shame and terror. "I gave 3 pairs," a young mother admitted, clutching her baby. Soon, nearly half the village stood before the priest. The men watched in stunned silence, their expressions a mix of anger and disbelief. The priest raised his staff, drawing a circle in the dirt around the gathered women. His chant began deep and rhythmic, each word laden with ancient power. The air grew heavy as if the ground itself was alive. The ceremonial torches flickered wildly, and a cool wind swept through the square, chilling the villagers despite the warm night. The chanting grew louder, and the women inside the circle began to sway, their eyes wide with fear. Suddenly, the circle of dirt around them glowed faintly. The priest's voice rose sharply. "The curse is breaking," he declared. "But it will not fully lift until Kentucky's power is destroyed." The villagers gasped in awe, but their fear lingered. They knew the battle was far from over. KY, the witch, still lurked in the shadows. The chief priest, now brimming with spiritual power, closed his eyes and raised his staff high. His chants deepened, slicing through the air like a hunter's blade. The wind howled, lifting dust and leaves into the air. "She is close," the priest announced, his voice booming. "Her lair lies near the river, beneath the old baobab tree." A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. The baobab tree was a place of whispered legends, a site of dark spirits and unspoken fear. "We must end this now," the priest commanded. Grabbing sticks, stones and torches, the villagers marched toward the river, their faces set in grim determination. The familiar path felt darker, their every step weighted by the enormity of their task. When they reached the baobab tree, the priest pointed his staff at the ground. "Here," he said. "Her coven lies below." The strongest men began digging, uncovering a hidden entrance, a dark tunnel reeking of decay and magic. 2 brave villagers entered, torches lighting their way. Moments later, they emerged, dragging KY behind them. Her once glorious robes were tattered, her face twisted with rage and fear. "You fools!" she spat, her voice hissing like a serpent. "You dare defy me? You will all perish." The villagers recoiled, but the priest stepped forward, unfazed. Chanting once more, his staff glowed softly. KY screamed, clutching her head as the words burned her. Her power was waning. The villagers stormed her lair, destroying the charms, candles, and artifacts scattered inside. Each item shattered seemed to weaken KY further, her screams fading into silence. Finally, the priest raised his staff. "It is done," he declared. "She is powerless." The villagers dragged KY back to the square. They tied her to the ancient tree, the same tree that had once witnessed their joyful celebrations. "You have stolen from us," the elder said, his voice heavy with anger. "You cursed our people. Today, your reign of terror ends." Without hesitation, the villagers picked up stones. Fueled by fear and rage, they hurled them at KY. Her screams echoed briefly before fading into silence. When it was over, the square was silent. The air felt lighter, the spirits seemingly appeased. The chief priest raised his hands. "The village is free," he declared. "But let this be a lesson. Evil thrives where greed and secrecy grow. Stay vigilant. Though Sango returned to peace, the scars of KY's curse lingered. Sala, burdened by guilt, left the village in shame. Tinu, celebrated for her bravery, became a symbol of resilience, her name a beacon of hope in Sango's legends. The tale of the stolen garments became a story told for generations, a cautionary reminder of the dangers of greed and hidden evil. And so Sango's people lived on, wiser and more united, forever mindful of the lessons learned under the light of the ancient baobab tree.